Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow bringing you guys another round of GP Luffy. This time I'm facing an RP Luffy. And this is a very interesting match. This is the Law, a top cut local. He definitely teched against GP, so you're going to see that a little later in the game. I lost dice roll and I went first. He chose to go second, so I open up with the stage for a draw 1. And then next turn I'm doing a Nami search, and I do see Sanjin Pudding. That's an automatic grab. As I've been saying, that's exactly what you want to find playing GP. So find that Sanji Pudding. That's automatically a grab. And at this point, looking to see what's good to grab in this hand, which is probably the secret Luffy, so that, could try to go for endgame, if not pressure my opponent here, since it is a 7k swinger. But you do see my opponent just swung. I took the life, and he plays out a Bon Clay for a ramp. I open up with, well, that was an ability trigger from life there. So I did search, grab the giant if I'm not mistaken. So I do start my turn off with doing a Sanjin Pudding. I do get a draw since he did ramp with that Bon Clay. And I do my leader ability to get myself to a 6k leader, buff up that Sanjin Pudding just in case there's something I can get rid of it. And I play another one for a draw, and I do use that stage one more time, making it a 9 cost. Currently have 2 Don up. I think I'm just going to swing for 8 at my opponent here to ask for 2 cards. Since he is a 6k leader, we do want to dwindle the hand size of RP Luffy, since sometimes they do have a decent amount of counter. So want to prevent him from being able to, hold on to that late game to make it a little easier. Although this deck is kind of in between. Sometimes they have a lot of bricks, sometimes they have a lot of counter. So currently at 7 Don, he's going to tap 6 to play out a blocker Sanji, swing for 6 as leader. Here I'm going to counter out with a 1k Ronin or Zoro because I knew he was going to swing for 7. And I wanted to take the other one, so I was trying to find another Sanjin Pudding. So as you can see, not doing very well. I was finding it, so I'm going to start off with the Nami to Bon Clay to get rid of it. He did have the blocker, but there's no point in using it. Might as well protect the leader. So I do the Roronora search, and obviously, as you can see in the search, there's not much to be found in it. So I end up grabbing another Zoro here, because currently with that Sanjin Pudding, I will ramp a Don back, and I will have 5 Don once again. So that's why I was hoping to find another Sanji Pudding, but kind of unfortunate. So I am going to use my leader ability, send 2 back, restand 2, get 1 back, giving me 5 Don again. So I am able to utilize that other Zoro that I just searched off the first one. So not only that, it's also good since it is a 6k body, which can swing into the RP Luffy until you see the tech card, which I believe he's running a new gate. So surprise, surprise. I do grab the 0 cost event there, and that's because I've realized that GP does become very bricky. So we do want to have that Gum Gum Gatling specifically for endgame counter or just any type of counter. And I swing 6 into the RP Luffy here. He gave me a 2k, and then I pass turn. I do not want to swing with the Sanjin Pudding because it's essentially going to be a target, and I'm not sure if he was going to have Dragon and then, put a lot of pressure on the Sanji Pudding, and I don't want to dump a lot of hand cards here. So you do see this is the first time he dropped the new gate, and I completely forgot that he gets a 2k buff. Of course, there's no dice to signify it, so that's why it's kind of good to have dice with you. So I did chuck the 0 cost event and another card, and I realized I needed to throw another one, so I added a 2k Usahachi. And then he passes turn to me, and I believe I drew into one more Zoro, which is absolutely crazy. I run right at a 4 of, and we did see the other one in the search. So finally see a Sanji Pudding. Unfortunately, it is right next to another one. So still have 3 Don left. I am going to use leader ability to restand the 2 and gain 1. So that is going to give me another Sanjin Pudding, and I am going to be able to draw off that Sanjin Pudding. And then here's where I start reorganizing the board, just mix and matching them. 3 Zoros, 2 Sanji Puddings. He is sitting at an 8k leader right now, so I'm contemplating whether or not to swing with the Sanjin Pudding. Looks like I opted not to do it. Or no, yeah, it looks like I'm still thinking about it because I wanted to, you know, at least dwindle. Oh no, I passed turn and he's just swinging at me. And I end up using Gum Gum Gatling to get out of the first 8k swing since he did play another new gate. That's where I didn't realize it. So I had an Electric Luna out of life, resting his Sanji here. And this is a slight misplay right here. I should have swung 6 with the Zoro into the Sanji before I played my other Sanji Pudding. Because I believe I do find it. I found it off of the Gum Gum Giant use right there. So I used a Giant just because I didn't want to take 2 big swings. So yeah, you do see I just play Sanji Pudding right over it. I kind of just have my blinders on when I see it. Definitely should have swung with the Zoro into the Sanji to either ask for a card or clear the Sanji and have, you know, all my characters active compared to one rested. So, and then from here I do use the search cards. So I use the 1 cost event to search top 3 for Straw Hat, Heart Pirates, or Kid Pirates. And I do it again. As you see, I'm finding counter cards. So I do find a 2k. I find a Giant off the other one. So definitely stacking on counter for this upcoming turn. And then I play stage over stage for another draw. You know, again, we want to have the counter for this late game. So here I swing 6 and then he gives me the Sanji blocker. And of course, again, as I said, if I would have swung with that first one, I would have had all the Zoros active in case he decides to go for a clearing board. So again, misplay on my part. Blinders go on once I see that Sanji Pudding because I look at it as finally ramping. Because 2, I'm neutral. 1, I go down and down, but I do restand 3 or restand 2, but get 3. So with 3 of them, I'm essentially finally ramping. So I do swing for 8, and I do this to ask for cards since he was an 8k leader because of that new gate. Gives me a 2k here. As long as he doesn't clear my board, I'm in a pretty good state here. But he has 2 new gates, which are each 10k for their power stat here. So I believe he was just going to attempt to try to go for games. I believe he also has a 10 cost Shanks in hand. Obviously rush. So you do see 10k swing first. I believe I'm going to give him a Gum Gum Giant right here. And I think I left 2 Don up. Yeah, so I left 2 Don up specifically for double Giant in case I absolutely needed it. And I believe I'm going to pitch a Zoro here. And I do draw my 2 cards. I still need another 1k, so I give him a Nico Robin. And I think I drew a brick as well in there. So I do have another Giant to filter out the hand and look for a counter. However, I do think I'm sitting on 4 2ks right now, which is good, especially since I'm a 6k leader. That's where I want to be at. So he's thinking about it very hard here because again, I also have to rely on my next turn going for games. I'm not going to survive another turn, especially if he has 3 big bodies. But he should have attempted to go for board clear here, take away some of the pressure because the Sanjin Puddings are all going to be able to swing directly at the RP Luffy and still ask of a 1k counter from them. The Shanks obviously skews the math a little bit for the Zoros, but essentially everything can swing without any Don attachment. So I do take that 10k swing, and I do this to kind of bait out whatever he's trying to do because I knew I have the counter. I know I have the counter with the Giant and the 4 2ks in hand. So it's all a matter of how he decides to play this out. He honestly probably could have just swung 16 and it would have been a little bit better. I still would have got out of it with the Giant. However, he's going to attempt to establish the Shanks here. So it does swing for 6k. I think I give him another 1k. So yeah, I forgot about the 1k. Obviously I give it up here, but then the next swing I am going to get out of it with just solely 2ks. You're going to see me contemplate and looking at it because I try to make sure that I have enough, because if not, I will have to use giant, and then that puts me back too far for what I really want to do. So you do see the giant go to the top, but I look at it, make sure I count up correctly how much counter I actually have without using the giant, and I just have enough off of just 2Ks, I believe. So you do see I dropped the 2 Sahachis and 2 Sanjis, so it gets me up to 14K since I am a 6K leader. And then passes over to me, and here I'm gonna forget about the shanks, and you're gonna see it here in a second. So you're gonna see me turn Zoro sideways and then realize that the shanks is gonna have that -1. So I do grab a dice off to the side, and again, very important to have the dice specifically for something like this, because you know it's very easily to forget that you do have the -1000 reduction. So the dice definitely does help with remembering and, you know, preventing misplays. So I'm doing my math as if they were all at their normal stats. So you do see I turn it sideways for a 6K swing, but it reminds me that the shanks is the 1K minus reduction. So I do put the dice out. I am going to attach 1 Don though to the Zoro and poke for 6K. Again, better to start poking and dwindling the hand, because you never know, he maybe doesn't have any counter. So this 6K, I believe he's going to take this one, and then I'm going to play over the secret Luffy over the Zoro, and I do this specifically so that I can do my leader ability and then restand 2 and ramp 3 back. So I'm going to +1 a Don doing this as well. So gives me, looks like 5 Don to play with, 2 to be able to restand the Luffy. So giving me pretty much 6 swings to still go at him with 4 cards in hand. But I'm going to just start poking, and eventually he ends up bricking, and that's going to be game. I don't even need all the swings, which is very good. But yeah, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys thought of the match, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.